Alright, I'm going to be honest with you guys, right? This is something I've been contemplating, the video I wanted to create for quite some time. Yes, we're even filming this in my gym. So the last couple videos, you saw the competition, you guys got to saw kind of what the last peak week into the stage, what that kind of looked like. Then I just kind of left you guys hanging. So life has been crazy, but that last transaction in that moment of stepping on stage and in that last prep as a whole, I wanted to be honest with you guys, and quite frankly, I also needed more knowledge. So after that time, I went and started working with a hormone clinic, TRT clinic, peptides, pretty much most A1C drugs, all of the good stuff. And I really just wanted to learn, so when I did a video like this, I knew how to teach you guys what I was taking. But before we get into all of the products that I'm currently on, I wanted to break this down and get you guys to understand the good that comes with testosterone, and first how we got here. I think that's important to understand. A lot of times when people get on social media, they see the Chris Bumsteads, they see the pros, they see just some guru guys that are in great shape, and they automatically think that's the standard and that's what they need to do. When people get a transformation, they immediately, the next thing on mind is I needed a competition prep or I need to get on testosterone. When I'll take it back and let you guys in on where my story really began. So first, it kind of started with a transaction of kind of just being diagnosed with CMT, which was a genetic disorder that affects muscle tissue. So you're not able to build it as fast, and actually it's kind of like osteoporosis, but it's severely worse. So for some of you guys that don't know what that is, it's kind of just the loss of muscle, or in a lot of men's case, sarcopenia. I experienced that really early, led to a double hip surgery, and that span of lifetime was just really difficult, right? I wasn't building muscle, brothers were athletic, I always wanted to be athletic, I didn't get those genes, and then, fast forward that, it was a very interesting lifetime. I'm not going to go in depth and trauma dump on you guys, but then we got into a transaction where I started coaching. Was in the gym religiously, eating high calories, eating the dirty calories, eating pretty much everything to try and get there, and nothing was working. Then fast forward a little more time, as my career got better, I got injured. And so I was like, all right, cool, I have not went to the doctor in a while. So I went to a doctor that then led me to the specialist of the specialist of the specialist. Same thing I went through in my experience to get a double hip surgery, 19-hour procedure. In that transaction, I was expecting an answer, right? As a lot of people, when they're diagnosed with something like that, they expect an answer. They expect a solution. And I didn't get that. I got pain meds and physical therapy. So yeah, super disappointed, and really just kind of felt like, hey, this is kind of tough. But mind you, what's on that table in those moments is an opportunity to see I have been in the gym 8 years. I have been eating, not the greatest, but just eating clean. Meal prepping, but I also binged on the weekends. I also drank. I also went to raves. I also did drugs. And it was all fun, but I was never happy in my skin. So the first competition back 2022, 2023 era, I started kind of dabbling into testosterone. It was all underground at the time. I did things like testosterone, DECA, Anavar. That was kind of what my off season looked like. As we got closer in the show, obviously it was a little less stuff. Saw some great results. Got in shredded, got in the best shape of my life, and then boom. The reality of when you do hormones and stuff like that is labs got elevated. In that transaction too, I'm going to make sure you guys kind of can see a snapshot in time of what that looked like. And then I started to understand, okay, if I want to do this, I made the decision that this testosterone was going to be a vital role of my life for a very long time. Reason being, I have a condition that makes it difficult. And I also chose to go with the things that might be negative with testosterone, right? So as you do anything, any kind of medication, there is going to be some side effects. But I was willing to live with that, and I also wanted to get better. So that was my price. You guys got to understand, when you guys do something like this, it's not you try it and for 3 months and you see if it works for you. You kind of have to stay on it a year time or really see it through. So really take your time with these things. So once we get into my second show, doing it the right way, kind of still underground, and then more towards the end, started working with a clinic. And you guys will see kind of in somewhere here on the screen the transformation of what it was. So just healthier, getting labs done, having a doctor review what I could take, and also just really finding the happiness that we've been searching for a very long time. What I used to look like and where that was, you guys can get a snapshot. Alright, so yes, I am an enhanced athlete, and yeah, guys, I'm super proud of that. I think when you look at the medical benefit of it, it is good. We're not doing it for likes. We're not doing it just solely of the fact of doing it. Guys, it's an expensive hobby, but also it's like when you're using it for the medical purposes, it's like I'm going to actually explain the actual protocol that I'm currently on in off season. I want to give you guys a snapshot in time of what I'm currently taking, how I feel, what it's like to have a genetic disorder and still train and still try to have a normal life. And then also, again, like, this is what I used to look like. So I'd say first up is obviously going to be your testosterone. Right here, typically it's going to be Cypionite. That is going to be the best one. Even a lot of our female clients that have hormone imbalances, menopause, things of that nature, it's going to be Cypionite. Yes, these products are a prescription. It's not underground, it's a prescription for me. The Cypionate is going to be, the industry standard should be about 200 milligrams a week. I know a lot of clients that are locally, typically the issue that they have with testosterone is they're doing 200 milligrams twice a week. If you guys are getting on a product like that and a cycle like that, again, no doctor here, but typically you're going to tank your hormones and you're not going to feel good. You might feel good for the first month because it's something new. Once your body gets used to that, you're not really going to be happy. Just 200 milligrams a week of testosterone. Alright, at nighttime, I take Albuterol, right? So that, it's going to, for me specifically, it was for the pain, right? I live in chronic pain, and typically sleeping for me before this has been an absolute mission. I would get insane cramps. Think about your worst Charlie horse times 100, and I would get that in the middle of my sleep pretty much every night. And just getting comfortable, sometimes it took me a while to fall asleep, and then staying asleep was the problem. So we took that. Let me pull this up too, to make sure, guys, again, only started working with a clinic, and this is new. I want to make sure you guys get the good details, so I have the product details up. So the Albuterol pretty much activates ghrelin, which is your hormone for kind of creating metabolism and waking up hungry. So I started to wake up more hungry. Also with this, it mimics growth hormone, so it also secretes G8s and your insulin-like factors. Again, so that is what the Albuterol is like for me. So basically, what the science behind that is, it helps you get into your REM cycles. Typically, how many REM cycles can you guys get in one night? Can you guys guess? One REM cycle is about 90 minutes. You're supposed to go through 4 of those a night. Most people, you're lucky if you get 1 or 2. So that's why I wanted that. As even in show, if you guys competed, you guys know your sleep is absolutely trash. So that's why I took that. Also, we pair this with glutathione. If I knew this, even when I was doing it underground, oh my god, my labs would have looked better. But the glutathione is basically a recycle bin and a kind of keeping you guys healthy, keeping your liver healthy. If you guys are taking Anavar and not really coming off like I was, then your LDL, your bad cholesterol, things of that nature are going to be elevated. So you can even take this if you're not on any steroids or on any peptides. If you just have blood work, this typically is something that is very good. If you guys are like, oh my god, I don't want to do injections, a bergamot product, you guys can buy that from Amazon. That can absolutely help your cholesterol get better. Next thing, we do IGF LR3. Absolutely one of my favorite products. It very much reminds me of how I feel when I'm on Anavar. But this is definitely my favorite. I am more addicted to this right now than testosterone, which is crazy. So this LR3 peptide, typically it was prescribed to me to take 90 minutes post-workout. I did that for probably the first month, and I was kind of getting more crashes in the afternoon, 3:30, 4. And I was really hungry after, like, oh my god, I could eat a cow for the first hour after that workout. Then after that, I wasn't really getting hungrier. So, my brother also works for the company, kind of was like, yo, what should we do? He's like, dude, just do it before the workout. absolutely changed the game. Did it before, literally do that injection and then go work out. My workouts felt better, my pumps felt better, I felt stronger, and I also stayed hungry pretty much the majority of the day. What that does, it's a peptide. So for all my gurus, oh my god, he's taking all this testosterone, diabolical. No. Alright, so with this case, it is a growth hormone-like peptide. So it's stimulating growth hormone and enhancing protein synthesis. So you're going to have faster recovery, faster repair. Alright, and that's when you do the injection, you have about 60 to 90 minutes of growth hormone. Alright, so once after that 90 minutes, it's not growth hormone, right? Growth hormone is really expensive. So that's currently the protocol I'm on, and I definitely plan on updating you guys of what my next protocol looks like. I'm still going to keep the LR3, I'm still going to keep the testosterone. I probably will run a cycle of an 8-week protocol with Anavar, as I'm entering into a phase where I've been pretty much doing about 4 to 5 meals, about 3,200 calories, about 275 grams of carbs, 200 grams of protein a day, but I want to gain about 10 more pounds, especially if I ever want to compete again. But typically, again, that is the current protocol I'm on, and I've got to show you what I look like now. Alright, this is the body I look like show, competition prep, 2-3% body fat, and then this is another one of what we look like now. And guys, let me tell you, energy's better. You know, when you guys are taking testosterone, it's bigger than just increasing your testosterone, right? Some guys, you know, it's also increasing the free percentage, the actual testosterone that gets converted. So testosterone is your hair, ability, wife gets out of the shower and you want to simply get down to business, you don't even question it anymore. That's questionable for some people if you're experiencing low testosterone. Brain fog. Brain is definitely, you know, working at a really good pace right now. Energy, ability to build muscle, you know, hair. Oh my god, my freaking beard literally will look crazy in 4 days, right? Hair and nails, you know, you're growing that more. As far as side effects go, side effects come based on genetics. So if you're scared of needles, you kind of got to get over yourself. Then ultimately, guys, like, you got to do it in a way that is built around a doctor and someone that really understands hormones. And then you also got to understand why you're doing this, right? For me, it's a journey of I simply want to stay alive. And I want to stay active and in shape until I'm 100 years old. So that is my decision. That's the current protocol I'm on. If you guys have any questions about that, comment, just hit that subscribe button, share this with your friends, and I'm going to keep you guys posted on the next protocol.